What's going on, guys? Welcome to Movie Battleground. We're back. It's been quite a while. We were supposed to be here a couple weeks ago, but that's all right. Today we have a really good match between DeGraff, also known as Showtime, and Subrath, the Raid, Sharma. Yeah, we'll go with that. And I am hosting this match, which I don't usually do. And let's introduce our fact checker as well. He has a match also coming up later today. It is Chris Clark. How's it going, Chris?
Sup, guys? This is going to be a rocker, isn't it? It's going to be a real rocker.
Oh, yeah. So, before we get into the match,
it should be
Evan, Subrath, you got a little bit of words for each other?
It's this simple. I've done this multiple times, and I have a judge who I very much trust in. And look, here's the thing: you're asking me questions in animation, the strongest suit that I have. You're asking me questions about Jason Bourne, which I freaking love those movies, and I get to use actors I freaking love in those movies. And then you're asking a Steve Carell question. Oh God! Look, Subrath, and I have to say I'm sorry early, okay? I have to. I have to say I'm sorry because if I don't, I'm gonna feel bad on the inside. I'm gonna feel so bad. It's gonna tear me up. So I'm sorry. And it's not.
We'll see how it goes. We'll just see how it goes. I mean, even I don't want to do trash talking because I've only done this like once against Aaron, and it was a long time ago. Yeah, just see how I do now. After a while.
I do my talking in the ring.
All right, so let's get this started with the first question, which I wonder what you guys are going to choose. What is the worst Pixar movie that is not in the Cars franchise? So we're going to start with Evan first, and then we'll just kind of bounce back and forth. So, Evan, what is the worst
Of course,
Pixar
the guy who
movie?
loves Pixar gets to go first.
Monsters University is the worst Pixar movie, even worse than Cars 2, actually, because it is a ripoff of Animal House, and it is the worst ripoff of Animal House made to man. There is no drinking involved. There's no cussing involved. It is the worst example of college that kids are ever going to see. The plot makes no sense at times. It's like, oh, Sully's going to do this, but then Mike turns into the cool guy, but then Sully's the cool guy. And the balance of characters makes no sense. The moral at the end of the story is that, hey, you become friends with people who screw you over in college. No, that should not be a moral of a story. Like, come on. It's not the Pixar way. It just wasn't. And it was a poorly made film that kids can enjoy, but adults hate this movie because nothing like what college is. Nothing.
All right. So, Subrath, what is the worst Pixar movie that is not a Cars
Are we allowed
movie?
Are we allowed to have notes for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You can take notes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Hang on. I prepare a lot, and if you say, okay, never mind. Okay, so you picked Monsters University. I picked something which they could have done more. Like, I was so disappointed in this movie. I picked Brave because, like, basically they wasted on the character of Merida, and instead of turning her, they have lots of potential with this character. I mean, she knows archery. She knows how to battle. How to fight people, and they could have done this like character building story about her, how she becomes a warrior, and instead they turn her mom into a bear. I was like, what? Basically, that's my argument for now. Basically, they just wasted on a story.
All right, so you guys know the drill. Go at it.
Okay, here's the thing about Brave. It's an Oscar-winning film, okay? You can say, oh, it doesn't deserve the Oscar, but it won an Oscar. Like, you can't take that away from it. But you can take away the facts that Monsters University didn't win an Oscar. You could argue two bad films, at least one of them won an Oscar, and that's what makes it the better film. And then also with Brave, some of the best moments were with Merida and the bear. Some of the most heartwarming, heartfelt moments was when the mom was a bear. And that's what made that film special, because you had the bond of the daughter and the mother growing up in Brave. And then you can take away the whole warrior aspect of it, but that was who she was at her character beginning. And then her character arc throughout made her more of a family person, which is important in life, is respecting and loving your family. So if you don't like family, then you don't like Brave.
Well, I have to disagree because from the advertisement point of view, they showed Merida like there's more to the story instead of like because as I was watching the movie, I was like, when do we get to the part where she finally grows up and finally fights? And we just spent most of the movie focusing on her mom turning into a bear by magic. So it's my personal view is like, it's misleading from the marketing point of view. So, but the story, I can see what you mean regarding the relationship stuff, but they could have done so much better. So much better. They have like a lot of story potential with this instead of turning her into a bear. They could just kill her mom and maybe.
Okay, it could have done so much.
Kill her mom and,
It could have done so much better, but again, it stayed away from those big cliches. Mom dies at the beginning. It actually didn't do that. A Disney film didn't kill a parent. Whoa! It took a risk, and look. Films get hated on for not taking a risk, but the film actually took a risk, and whether you like it or not, I think it succeeded a little bit. It made for a heartfelt story, and then and also, let's not even hit on the three little bears, the three little brothers. They were very funny and very hilarious. You could argue they're even funnier than the Minions. And you can see the brotherly, sisterly relationship whenever they strike that deal with them, and it was very, very family felt. It's a very family-centric film. I don't think many people understand that. The whole warrior part is the whole build-up of the character of Merida. They're not wasting it. They're just showing you who the character is, and that's important.
It lagged a bit at the last second.
My point is it was the build up of a character. It's the character at the start.
Hello?
And that's to show who the character is. That's the whole point of the archery thing, is to show who Merida is in order to complete her arc.
I think.
All right, Subrath, you got anything else to say before we go to final rebuttals?
No, we just. I mean, like, I understand his point of view. Like, basically, I know the characters, they're the ones that's making this movie come to life. Other than that, the story is just like it's too small of a story. They show her she can do this, she can do that, but they didn't show her utilizing all the skills that she has, including archery and her combat skills. They didn't show all this, and throughout the movie, basically, it's just her stumbling through, like all the magic stuff that's going on.
But isn't that life? Stumbling through things that you wouldn't expect. Like, she didn't expect magic.
You showed someone who kicks ass at the beginning, who just stumbles in the middle of the movie until the end. I mean, Merida should have deserved a better movie than what she has in Brave. Because, yeah, I mean, they showed a powerful female character. I mean, not to compare, but Wonder Woman, that's an example. Yeah, so basically that's my argument.
All right.
I just want to get this straight. Just my last point. You're arguing for a social activism. I'm arguing based off of a movie and a character arc. If that was a male in that role where he became less of a family man and shot an arrow, it's a different conversation. Many would argue it's a different movie. It's a better movie, which I think is a baloney argument. I am so for social activism, but if you just take the movie to its bare bones, it's about a girl who's trying to relate to her family. And you can say, yeah, that they took away the arrow, they took away the archery and stuff. Remember, the bow burned. That was the only thing that she was really good at. And then she also beat up a bunch of the people at the end of the film whenever she's trying to save her mom, whenever she was there and everybody's about to kill her. She showed how badass she was in that scene. So did they really take it away? No, not really. All right.
So we're going to go into our final arguments. So, Evan, we're going to let you go since you went first.
Look, he didn't even hit on Monsters University and why it's an even worse and why it's a better film than Brave. And that's the thing. It's like it's drunk college without it even being drunk, and it's animated monsters. And here's the thing. We see Sully and Mike in their prime coming out at the beginning of Monsters Inc. there was no reason for us to believe in Monsters University that they should have been in their prime at all. Gave us no reason. They weren't drunk. Like the movie just doesn't make sense. Where at least in Brave, an Oscar was won, which is huge, by the way. Winning an Oscar is a very important award. 2, the story was linear, and 3, the characters were important. That's it. That's all I need.
All right.
The thing
Subrath, how
that
about you?
the thing from Monsters University, which I showing teamwork, like how Sully and Mike first met each other. I mean, basically that's the one thing which I think this movie is better than Brave is showing how they became. I mean, how they became friends the first time, because Monsters Incorporated back in long time ago. I mean, sometimes I'm also curious personally, like how did these two get together? And we got that in Monsters University. I'm kind of glad also they showed how they became friends. And also, still, yeah, basically that's my idea regarding why Monsters University is better.
All right. So before I go into my decision, Chris, is there anything that needed to be fact checked?
No, all of that stuff was just about the movie in general. There was really no facts they brought up that I needed to Google. Unless I missed something. I don't think so.
I haven't seen nobody member playing SMD alone.
Yeah, the only thing I was really thinking of was the 3 brothers. I thought there was just 2, but
No,
there's
there's 3. There's 3 of them. Yep. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so it's a very good round by both of you guys, but after thinking about the arguments that each of you gave, I got to give the point to Evan. I feel like he stressed more why Brave is the better movie, and I feel like he gave more reasons compared to you, Subrath. I feel like you were just saying why Brave was worse, and he didn't, until the very end, you didn't say why Monsters University was better.
Yeah.
He brought up the Oscar, which was a pretty important thing. And also the risk. It's a little different than some of the Disney movies he brought up too. So, yep, Evan gets the point. Right now he's up 1-0. We'll see if he can turn it around, Subrath, with this question. And here's question number 2. We're going to let Subrath go first. And the question is, what is the best Steve Carell performance? So, Subrath, what is the best?
Just simple. The one he got nominated in, like The Big Short. Because, like, what I see his character is like as someone who's gone through a very tragic thing that happened in his life. Like his brother committed suicide during the recession. He's also like, I like this, his type of character that he showed that he's very hot-tempered and always, like, how do you say it? Blows up against a lot of everyone in his part. Very hot-tempered, very, very self-centered. But yeah, he also shows that he's just not like just the guy who gets angry a lot. When they show a scene with him and Marissa Tomei as his wife, yeah, he calms down a bit because he knows this was his wife, and yeah, it's his family. Yeah, she calms him down, and he's really in character in this. Like, I don't see Steve Carell in this. I see Mark Baum, the guy he's playing. Also, he's nominated for, and I've told you, he's nominated for 1 Golden Globe and Critics' Choice Award. Yeah, that's my argument for now.
Okay. Evan?
Steve Carell was nominated for a Golden Globe in that film, and Golden Globes are the most disrespected awards of all time, and he wasn't even nominated for an Oscar in that role. He was nominated for Foxcatcher, which isn't even my movie, because that's not his best role. His best role is 40-Year-Old Frickin' Virgin, his breakout role. The role where this man has to go through a frickin' life of not having sex for 40 years, and he performs that role perfectly. He shows the varied emotions. He shows that he doesn't even know how to be sexual around women. Like the scene where he goes, "Oh, condoms, what are these? These are old. I can't use," like he doesn't understand. He goes, "Oh, how's it going, like a sock?" It's a great scene. The waxing scene is known as one of the best scenes in film history whenever he's being waxed. And this is Steve Carell in his prime. This is when he is the most respected. Whenever people go, yeah, Steve Carell is such a comedian, they point to this film. And also to mention, he has to show more variety emotions in this film compared to The Big Short. He has to be funny, he has to be sad, he has to be happy. And it's a very diverse role. He's the lead in that film, which is very important, especially whenever you're trying to decide what's his best role. And 40-Year-Old Virgin is by far the best answer.
Okay, so have at it, guys.
Subrath, take the floor.
No, basically, the reason why I didn't pick 40-Year-Old Virgin is because Steve Carell's highlight has always been his comedic roles. And I think it's like oversaturated. 40-Year-Old Virgin, yeah, I can see why you picked that because I know it's his breakout role, but The Big Short is something different from him. I see something different from this guy, Steve Carell. It shows that he has a lot of range instead of just being in comedy. I mean, sometimes he's funny as well in The Big Short when he's angry or something, angry at his wife, and his wife just calms him down. I mean, you sort of chuckle at that scene. Whereas in 40-Year-Old Virgin, yeah, it's basically another comedy by Steve Carell, which now these days people want to see what kind of range this guy has.
You speak about oversaturated. This was before whenever people even started making the oversaturated comments. And the oversaturated comments are usually shot down because he's such a genius comedian. And then you also want to hit on the facts that this is arguably his best dramatic performance. He wasn't even nominated for this one. He was nominated for Foxcatcher, which is an even better dramatic performance from Steve Carell. And the issue with The Big Short is the character is very one note. He's just very depressed the whole time. Whereas you see in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, he's depressed and happy at times. He's funny and yet awkward at times. That's what makes that role great compared to the Big Short role. And he's overshadowed by Christian Bale in that movie too. Like, and it's whenever I came out of the 40-Year-Old Virgin, I came out of that Christian Bale kind of drumstick role kind of thing. I didn't come out thinking Steve Carell depressed the whole time. No, but when I come out of the 40-Year-Old Virgin, I'm like, wow, Steve Carell is somebody to be taken seriously. A serious actor performing a comedic role that you could argue he could get nominated for this. Without 40-Year-Old Virgin, you don't have Steve Carell. And that's why I don't think this argument can even be had, because it's by far best breakout role and his best role. Like, there are endless scenes that you could hit on. Like, whenever someone brings over the porn videos to him, that scene by itself just makes me laugh so hard and over. And it's just these different scenes. And he's very well. He bounces off actors very well in this film. Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd, you name it. He bounces off them very well. And in The Big Short, he seems a bit stale in it with his connections with the other actors. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's fluid. And that's the chemistry, for me, isn't there.
Well, when did the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out? In 2005, right? And he did the Office for how many seasons? 7 seasons, right?
Your Office
Basically,
is TV, by the way, which is important to know.
I know it's TV, but people know Steve Carell. I mean, they wouldn't have known 40-Year-Old Virgin without the Office. Basically, I think he was doing the same. I mean, like, he was doing TV and movie at the same time. At the time, he porn, movie. He's basically a TV actor, and the reason why I picked The Big Short is because we see a more mature Steve Carell. He's more experienced, and you see that in how he acts in the movie, like an actual guy who's always angry all the time. And he's not just angry, he's also smart. You see a very smart Steve Carell in finding a way to fight these Wall Street guys. And I'll just have to be honest here, like all the economic stuff, all the business stuff which they talk about, not everyone can get that. But Steve Carell, how he acts, it's like he knows that that topic. So basically, this is why I picked this movie instead of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
All right, so on.
There's one last point before we go to our final word comments. but it's not really told through him. It's told in the scenes whenever you have Selena Gomez, and it's told through the scenes whenever you see Margot Robbie. It's not really told through him in the economics type thing, because you still get lost whenever he's speaking about it, but you don't get lost whenever Selena Gomez or Margot Robbie's talking about him. So that's where that argument's getting a bit lost for me. But yeah, that's my final point before we go to the final rebutments.
All right, so now we'll go to our final rebutments and arguments. So we'll start with Subrath, and then we'll go to Evan.
Yeah.
Let's just start with Evan first. So,
Well, no, I started first last time.
okay. Yeah, basically that's the argument is that's the only argument. We see a very mature Steve Carell. We see who he is in this guy's shoes, basically mourning over the death of his brother due to recession, and he blames the death of his brother on his Wall Street compatriots, and he's disgusted by that. And you basically see how a guy goes through, he was in what do you call that, like the group session thing, and you see that he's sick of it. He doesn't care about that, and he only cares about how to finding the solution to one that he has. That's it.
It doesn't matter what he cares. Okay, this is my final statement. It doesn't matter what he cares about. It matters what he was great at, and he was fantastic as his role in The 4-Year-Old Virgin. Look, people respect Adam Sandler's role in Punch Drunk Club, but people remember him for Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. It's the same thing here with Steve Carell. It's a more memorable role. It's a better role, and he performs a lot better in it. That's what he's known for, and you can say over and over again, but it's a one-note character. With The 4-Year-Old Virgin, there's so much diversity within his character and what his mind's thoughts. He goes, I want to have sex, but I don't want to have sex. It's a very interesting concept to explore, and it's very well done. And that's why it's just a better role.
All right, so before we go into arguments, or before I go to my decision, because this was a very close one, Chris,
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts as far as who you think did better. And
Well, look, I really feel like the 40-Year-Old Virgin is probably his better movie. I've never seen The Big Short, to be quite honest with you, but I will say that I fact-checked what Subrath was saying about The Office. The Office being released in 2005. I feel like, from what I gather, it was The Office was released like a week before the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out. So I don't think The Office had any impact on whether the 40-Year-Old Virgin would have been made or not. It might have had an effect on the success, but I don't know if that's what Subrath was alluding to. But other than that, that's all I have for fact checking on my part. I hope that made sense, Matt.
yeah, it did make sense, because I didn't know when The Office came out either. I just assumed it was before because it's been on for so long.
Yeah, 13 seasons, I think.
So, yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, this one was really close.
It was.
Kept going back and forth, but I was paying attention to that, and I was also kind of seeing who gave the better final argument. And I would have said Subrath at first, with the whole, how the situations he was put in, but Evan shot him right down pretty quick with that not mattering with the performance. So I think I got to go with Evan just with that last argument. I got to go with Evan. Subrath, you had it. You really did have it, but I think Evan just had a slightly stronger end to his argument, mentioning how.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Understand.
Yeah. So right now, score is 2-0, Evan, and we enter into the third question. And the third question is, pitch the next Jason Bourne movie. Now you gotta say who's going to direct it, the supporting cast, and what the story is about. And we had Subrath go first last time, so Evan, you go first.
Jason Bourne. Ready? Here's the name of the film. Bourne Contingency. Directed by who? Who do you think this is going to be directed by? Directed by Denis Villeneuve. Look, he has done some very dark, very crazy, very twisting movies, and that's exactly what we need in a Jason Bourne movie. And this guy is on fire. He hasn't made a single bad film yet. And if you've seen Sicario, you can make a Jason Bourne movie. You for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's called Bourne Contingency for a reason. Jason Bourne is trying to get back into the CIA. He's trying to get back onto good terms. But who's stopping him? The CIA director himself, J.K. Simmons. Arguably the best actor in Hollywood right now, who just got an Oscar for Whiplash. For a role where he's not a villain, but a very mean, awful man. And he's pumping out these great, fantastic roles. J. Jonah Jameson as well. And then we have the supporting cast of Miles Teller, Jessica Chastain, and you guessed it, Batfleck himself, Ben Affleck. And here's the reason why. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are going to start writing the scripts with Denis Villeneuve. It's going to be a great partner, great relationship. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have great chemistry on screen, so Matt Damon will kind of be like the guy that Matt Damon goes to if needs be. Jessica Chastain is going to be J.K. Simmons' right-hand man. And guess what? You guessed it right. Miles Teller is going to be J.K. Simmons' bitch. Because what better to follow up Whiplash than with than Miles Teller being J.K. Simmons' bitch. And here's how the film is going to work. Miles Teller is just going to go on the slide here. And he's going to drop a note. He's going to drop a note to Matt Damon and be like, and it's going to simply read, the CIA wants to speak with you. They sit in a room, and all of a sudden, the lights go out. Jessica Chastain kicks Matt Damon's ass. And then all of a sudden, the first scene of the film, J.K. Simmons and Matt Damon going back and forth. That would be amazing. Now, tell me you don't want to see a movie like that. Further details to be explained later. I don't think I need much more details after that.
Okay, so Subrath, let's see you follow that.
Yeah, I actually have to do this quick because I've been called again. I'll make this as fast as I can. I'll be Jason Bourne, Time and Space. I'll reveal the director afterwards. The villain should be played by someone who was Jason Bourne before. That is Richard Chamberlain, the guy who plays in the 1988 version of Bourne Identity. And this thing should take, movies like Fast and Furious and other franchises, they've talked about going to space. I think Jason Bourne should go into space. The director for this should just be someone who knows how to do sci-fi fiction movies. That is basically none other than Ridley Scott. And this movie should take place, if you want, I'll just do the short version of the plot. This movie takes place after the last Jason Bourne movie, where he gets offered mission, and because all of a sudden they heard that NASA has been hijacked by terrorists. And how do I do this fast? Because I wrote a lot actually. Jason Bourne basically rides to outer space to fight this bad guy, and turns out that Richard Chamberlain guy is actually Jason Bourne from the future. And they fight, and then Jason Bourne wins, and the end.
All right.
I really have to get going. That's why I have to do this fast. Yeah.
All right, so we got Jason Bourne in space and Jason Bourne trying to get back to CIA. So Evan.
Okay, I feel bad that you have a short time, but I'll just make this plain and simple to you. You're trying to bring back the old Jason Bourne for nostalgia, which is going to be really bad, because every time you bring something back from nostalgia, nothing good happens, which is why Birdman is such a successful film. But the point being, now you're trying to make the two Jason Bournes fight each other and go into space. We're not trying to make Jason Bourne a meme here. We have never done that. He's a very serious character. We're not trying to make him a meme. The Fast and Furious movies are memes, okay? We're not trying to make Jason Bourne a meme. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make this series serious again. very involving, very intriguing, very intense. And whenever you bring characters like actors like J.K. Simmons into this, you know you're gonna get intense, and that's exactly what we need out of a Jason Bourne movie.
I'll just make a quick argument before we'll just go to the next one. Like, I mean, Jason Bourne basically has become a meme ever since that last movie, which basically bored people. And I was bored by that movie. I expect a lot of that from that movie, but I mean, how can they move on from that movie? Are they going to just make the same thing? If they're going to make something, a new Bourne movie, it should audience intrigue, like, oh, he's going to space, like, what do you think is going to happen? And the director is the director of the Alien franchise. The guy knows how to make like, you know, sci-fi movies. And Jason Bourne is basically like they could just make him like a super agent or something. And I wrote something that this movie can cross over with the Mission Impossible movie by introducing Ethan Hunt into it.
Okay,
Okay,
you can make your point. Sorry.
No, I just did.
Okay, so this will be my final rebutment just for Subrath's own insanity. Look, you're trying to get Ridley Scott to direct your film. The last one that he put out was Alien Covenant, and people hate that film. They hate that film with a freaking passion. You do not want to put that into a Jason Bourne franchise. 2, Jason Bourne has never become a meme. Even though the last film is mediocre at best, it's never been a meme. Bringing it to space is only going to make it a joke, and Jason Bourne does not deserve that. A franchise like Jason Bourne does not deserve to be a joke. No way, shape, or form. Your argument is confusing my brain, and it should not do that. Whenever you tell me plot of the movie, it should not confuse me. Okay, and that's my final argument.
Okay. Subrath,
Okay.
what's your final argument?
Yeah, no, okay, because I really have to go. Just move on to the next one.
Okay, so after listening to the argument to stuff, I gotta go with Evan on this one. I think he really stressed the point that we don't want to see Jason Bourne become a meme, and I could see that become possible with the whole space thing.
I think it should be.
You know, also how, you know, he was saying just kind of he was hitting more on your story why that wouldn't be as good as his story, and I feel like you didn't do that quite as much. I feel like you were just saying why yours was better, which is good, but I kind of was looking to see kind of both sides in your opinion. So that puts Evan up 3-0 right now. We're gonna make this next question real quick, and if Evan gets the next point, then he knocks out Subrath. But if Evan doesn't get the point and Subrath gets the point, then we'll go to a quick little speed round. I know we got to run quick. So the question is, what is the best non-Pixar film that was released after 1999?
It's Subrath's floor, so take it away, boy.
So.
Okay. I'm going to look so bad in this. Post 1999, right? The movie.
Yeah.
Okay. The movie I picked is Big Hero 6. I'll just
What?
Because I mean, that movie is not Pixar. Okay, it's Walt Disney Animation. It's different. What the question says is best non-Pixar animated movie.
Chris, chill out. Be respectful. Chris, be respectful.
Sorry. So sorry. No, go for it.
Freaks out.
Basically, why this is the best non-Pixar animated movie after 2000? Because like the movie has Pixar elements to it. Even though this is not a Pixar movie, it has Pixar element to it, and it's set in a multicultural hybrid city, which is like the mixture of like basically it's like East meets West. You see something related to Japanese culture, something related to the Western culture, it's basically like something which the movie is big here in Indonesia and in all parts of Asia because you see Asia in that movie. It's a mixture of San Francisco, and the main character is biracial. and because he's not written entirely as a Caucasian character, but I think the voice actor is Caucasian, but nevertheless, the main actor is the main character. He's not white. That's the thing. He's biracial, and the people surrounding him, they're also like multi-diverse people. And like another point to make is Baymax. I mean, Baymax. Who doesn't like Baymax? All of the kids, they love Baymax. Even some adults, as I saw in the movie theater, some adults even laughed at the Scotch tape scene. Who doesn't love that scene? And the movie also shows strong morals, like, which, spoiler alert, at the end, like in the movie, like the main character, he wants Baymax to kill off the bad guy, but who is just a father who lost his daughter. But then, like, so it shows restraint. Now the point is, it's a superhero movie. It has Stan Lee in it. Who doesn't love Stan Lee? Come on.
Okay. So, Evan,
Yeah.
what is the best non-Pixar movie?
One of the leading campaigns coming out of the Lego movie was, why wasn't this movie even nominated for an Oscar? So many people thought it should have won an Oscar, but it didn't even get nominated. And do you know the uproar it got for that freaking movie for it getting not nominated? People were upset. People were outraged. And I'll tell you why. It's because this movie is probably the most well-hearted, big-hearted movie of 2014. The movie the same year as Big Hero 6. This movie did so perfectly. It had a great villain in Dr. and Evil Business. And at the very end, touching scene with the boy and Will Ferrell, and it was just so heartfelt. But that's not even the best part. Emmett is such a diverse character. You can see yourself as Emmett every day, going in and bringing in him and himself in. You can each and every character, the cameos, Gandalf, the DC people that I know you like, Subrath, the DC people. The freaking Gandalf is in it. Harry Potter. Everybody is in this film. Batman is in this film. The cameo is so good that they had to put him in his own solo film. This film is brilliant from start to finish. The adult jokes that no kids will get, but kids will still laugh at because it's Legos moving around. It's the smartest film to come out in the past century, and it can't get better than this. And whenever you say Big Hero 6, the villain is probably one of the weakest villains I've seen in superhero / animation history. The third act falls apart more than my love life falls apart. I mean, come on. This isn't even a debate. Big Hero 6, look, it's a good first 2 acts film with some decent characters. But if you're going to try and pull the cultural card, think about what the Lego movie did. It brought cultures together. Everybody bonded over that film as saying F you to the Oscars. Like, it just had such a good campaign, and what it did, the Lego movie, without a shadow of doubt.
All right. So, have at it, guys.
Okay. But I'll just try my best. Okay. If I lose, then you're just lucky.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
Basically, you see it. I mean, I know this movie won an Oscar, but
I can confirm that Big Hero 6 did not win an Oscar. How to Train Your Dragon 2 won the Oscar.
come on, Lego movie was supposed to be on the knock.
It wasn't How to Train Your Dragon 2 either. It was one of the other ones that got nominated.
No, I'm positive.
Yeah,
it was How to Train Your Dragon 2.
It was How to Train Your Dragon 2, I think.
Yeah. Fact checker. Chris Clark.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Somebody just did a garage bang on me. Yeah, you left this Nuketown game and somebody did a garage bang on me. Oh my god, I got billed, bro.
So Big Hero 6 they win.
Destroyed.
No, Big Hero 6 did not.
Did you hear me?
Sure, you see them. I mean, you're not supposed to be disappointed at that because people expect who's the villain, the guy is supposed to be evil. I mean, the guy killed that the
Hey,
main character's
where'd you go?
older brother.
Where'd you
So
go?
you see the rage in his eyes as you see the villain, and even after they open his mask, and he's just a father. He's the professor I got, and
It was a garage bang, so that's good enough for me.
like he did not
He was. I feel bad because can't.
didn't care because it's his brother.
I feel bad for Subrath because he can't really speak.
That's the argument I have.
I think his argument was that the fact that he killed the brother of the main character, and that's what makes him a good villain. Is that near right, Subrath?
That's what I thought I heard.
That's
Okay.
what I figured. Yeah.
Point being is
But
okay. My point being is you can't necessarily argue that because
that's why.
you can. It was still underdeveloped. You had such a good plot point there, but you extremely underdeveloped it, and it was just kind of shoehorned in there. I said, "Oh, here's a twist. He's right in your face," and it just it didn't feel natural. It didn't feel natural. And whenever you have something like that that doesn't feel natural, it's just got to get cut out.
I was so legit. I was worried.
All right. So just so we can give time for Subrath to get ready for work. Let's go into our final arguments right now, and we will start with Subrath.
Okay, so yeah, this
All I want.
like the movie
Yeah, you way better.
Feel bad. I can't hear him.
It's all beeps and boops.
Yeah.
I mean, different from Lego
Action in my eyes.
movie. Like some people don't like it because it's like a showcase of
It just be a filler.
it's like oh it just basically Warner Bros.
All right, to make things fair, let's just not have our
Like-
final arguments because I can make mine all day, but it sounds as if Subrath won't be able to make his, so just make this final judgment, man.
Why?
Okay. Now before we go into it, I did also look it up just because I was curious. Big Hero 6 did win.
Yeah, it
Best
did.
Animated Feature.
It did? Okay. It
Yeah,
won
it
Best
did.
Picture.
Yeah.
I was about to
saying-
say that. Yeah.
So, yeah, it did win that. I did check. Is there any other things that we need to fact check?
Yeah.
No, nothing you guys said was everything you guys said was subjective. There was no facts really brought up besides the Academy Award stuff, and I couldn't really make out what he was saying. So,
Which is why I don't want to have a final
Yeah.
argument. That'd be unjust.
because he probably said other facts that I just couldn't make out. But it was nominated for everything else, but it only won for an Academy Award. But it was nominated for a lot of stuff. It had 55 nominations and only 14 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, his internet fell apart. So, yeah, because I couldn't really hear a whole lot of what he was making out just because of his internet.
Yeah.
But just based on what I've heard in the arguments, I do have to give the point to Evan, even if it's kind of a disadvantage for the internet with Subrath. I just he gave more arguments for why Lego Movie was better and why Big Hero 6 wasn't, like with the villain, for example, being one of the weakest characters. And I did like how Subrath came back with that, saying that he killed the main character. But I just feel like Evan gave stronger points on there. So that means Evan wins by knockout. And I feel like that last point was a little unfair, but that's all right. I feel like Evan was having the stronger arguments anyway, even when Subrath had
I tried to be fair. I didn't make a final point, if that means anything.
yeah, so there we go. Evan, what are your thoughts on
Look.
your win?
Look,
How's
and
it feel?
I told Subrath this from the beginning. It wasn't going to be pretty. I told him I'm sorry. And look, I do feel bad that his internet fell apart. You can't control that. But here's the bottom line. Subrath, you were just a block in the road. You were my warm-up into this whole new format of the league. You were my warm-up. And look at what happened to you. You got knocked out. You got knocked out. And it's that simple. Whenever you get knocked out, the floor literally gets swept. I swept you across the street. You're gone. Next is the winner next is the winner of Chris Clark and Luca Fallon. Luca Fallon, I'm not scared of you. I've seen you on camera.
But he's scared of me.
I'm not scared of you either. I have to help
Yes,
you.
are.
I have to help you.
No, you don't. You give me what I need to survive, brother. You
To survive.
Do.
To
Well, you know what? You know what?
You just want to
Jesus
survive.
Christ. Jesus
You
Christ
just
is
wanna
not doing
survive.
anything for you, honey. No.
You just want to survive. I do more than survive. I thrive.
I hope
freaking
this
thrive.
stays in the edit.
I thrive. And that's what I'm going to be
You
doing.
thrive on losses, you little weasel. You little-
Evan the Showtime DeGraff. Thriving.
Evan the baby bottle pop DeGraff.
So, I would ask Subrath what his thoughts were on the win or on the loss. Wow, that was embarrassing. But I can't. So,
I said I was sorry. I don't know what more you want me to do, man.
So yeah. So there we go. There's our first match. I wish it was a little closer, but that's all right. So Chris, before we go, let's know what your thoughts are for your match coming up later today against Luca.
Well, because I had to
Luca.
help him, he's going to win.
Luca's going down. He's going down like a clown in a river full of molten lava. And I will burn him, and I will burn him good. I hope that made sense, Matt, because it didn't to me. But it's going to be delicious, it's going to be fun, and he's going to be fried. That's all I have to say.
Alrighty, so there you go, guys.
Yep.
Thank you very much for checking us out. I don't know if your match is going to be live or not. I guess it just depends on when it's going on. But anyway, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you're new, subscribe so you can get more of these matches. Of course, follow the page Movie Battleground. It's easy to find. There's no like other groups you have to go climb through just to find this one. And if you want to compete, join the league. Let us know, and we'll find a match for you guys. So until next time, bye-bye.